And we're back here on WrestleRant. I'm Graham Giason Matthews. Today we're talking about the inaugural installment in the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view series that went from 2010 to 2015. Granted, in 2015 was brought back as a one-night-only exclusive event on the WWE Network. Whether it will be brought back this year, no one really knows. I don't think so. It's not on WWE's official pay-per-view calendar as of right now. And I hope not. I mean, it had its moments, but the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is rarely ever really worth watching, honestly. These shows will be not tough to get through. I've already watched them all, but the reviews and stuff will be fun to review. Don't get me wrong. Even the bad shows are a blast to review for you guys and to talk about and to reminisce on them and stuff. But watching them back, I'm just going to warn you right now, there's not a lot of must-see, go out of your way to watch this moment or match from the Elimination Chamber pay-per-views because a lot of these shows were very, very predictable. And they took place in the same slot that the amazing events like the 2000, 01, 02, and 03 installments of No Way Out did. But towards the end, the February pay-per-views just became so predictable, they were just fucking useless. They were unnecessary, and they still are today. Fastlane last year, I'm recording this before Fastlane 2016, but Fastlane 2015 was a fucking waste. I enjoyed it, but it really was a waste of time. But anyway, off my soapbox for a couple of moments. We'll talk about Elimination Chamber 2010. Kicking off the show for the WWE Championship, an Elimination Chamber match, pitting the then champion Sheamus against Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase, Kofi Kingston, Triple H, and John Cena. Really not that good of a chamber match. It got down to the point where everyone was in the match at the same time, I believe for the first time ever. But then everyone got eliminated at the same time, too. It was cool to see Orton get taken out by DiBiase. They told a good story there with Cody Rhodes throwing in the steel lead pipe or whatever. DiBiase used it on Orton when Cena was going to hit him with the AA. Ted DiBiase pinned Randy Orton to get rid of him, and Orton was gone, so kind of teasing tension before the ultimate breakup of the Legacy members. Specifically, just Orton splitting away from Rhodes and DiBiase. They would stick together for a little while longer before they went their separate ways at WrestleMania. So that was a good story, but the rest of the match really wasn't all that, as exciting, I guess. There really wasn't much of a point to it. It was cool to see some fresh faces in there, like Ted DiBiase. He would have benefited huge from that elimination had he not gotten taken out by Kofi Kingston literally like 30 seconds later, so that was a waste. Then right after that, we had, Sheamus was in there. We had Kofi Kingston, who I appreciated, by the way, when he was coming down to the ring. He looked behind him, kind of like a la 2009 because of what happened the year prior when Edge took him out. So that was a nice little acknowledgement of history from the year prior, so that was cool. But even Cody Rhodes, or rather Kofi Kingston, who took out DiBiase, he was taken out by Sheamus. Sheamus was taken out by Triple H. He didn't even last until the end. Triple H got taken out by John Cena. So I liked how it was like, boom, he got taken out by this guy. And the main event was the exact same way, so to do it twice was a little bit overkill. I enjoyed it more the way they did in the main event. And what by that I mean, I'm talking about Orton got taken out by DiBiase. DiBiase got taken out by Kingston. Kingston got taken out by Sheamus. Sheamus got taken out by Triple H. And Triple H got taken out by John Cena. So it was very perfectly lined up in that way. And the main event was the exact same way. So I liked it in the main event. I didn't really like the way that it was planned out in this match because I thought DiBiase, any slight bit of momentum he got from taking out Orton was erased as soon as Kingston got rid of him. And then Sheamus got rid of Kingston, so he didn't benefit from taking out the guy who got rid of Orton. You know what I mean? And then after that, we got shades of 2006 when Edge cashed in. This time around, McMahon came out, almost the exact same sequence, saying the night is not yet over for you, John Cena. Before you can go on to WrestleMania as WWE Champion, you have one more title defense. Out comes Batista, who had been helping Mr. McMahon in the weeks that had led up to this show in his whole fiasco and his feud with Bret Hart, so he was kind of buddy-buddy with the boss, leading to his title match, Impromptu Championship match with John Cena, beating him in less than a minute with a powerbomb, a Batista bomb, to become a two-time WWE Champion and becoming the champion going into WrestleMania. So I love the feud between John Cena and Batista, and I liked how this whole thing played out. The chamber match was kind of useless as a result, and John Cena winning his WWE Championship before losing it a minute later. So it was very, very, very reminiscent of 2006, and I believe that was the point, but I don't know, the chamber match itself really wasn't that good, so it kind of felt like a waste of time. So after that, we had, for the Intercontinental Championship, Drew McIntyre defending the title against Kane in a very dull match, went a couple minutes longer than it should have. I like Drew McIntyre, but he was boring as shit sometimes. Just him and Kane had no chemistry. There was no psychology here. It was just there, the match was, and Drew McIntyre hitting him with an eye poke, following it up with the Future Shock DDT, and that was it, after working over his arm for the entire matchup. So it was kind of a waste and a very boring match the crowd didn't give two shits about. Lay Cool up next, taking out Maurice and Gail Kim. Originally, it was supposed to be Maurice and Gail Kim in the finals of the Divas Championship tournament for the vacant Divas title, but it was changed to this match instead. Raw versus SmackDown. Lay Cool won. Match no one cared about. Lay Cool had pretty much run their course by this point. Maurice and Gail Kim obviously didn't work well together. They were not a cohesive unit, to say the least. In the end, Gail Kim getting beat, and they would have their title match the next night on Raw instead. Who cares? After that, for the United States Championship, The Miz defending against MVP in a rematch from the Royal Rumble. They had a tag team match on Raw where MVP and Henry beat the tag team champions Show Miz and Big Show, but instead of getting a tag team title shot, they got a U.S. title shot instead because MVP pinned Miz. The whole logic didn't really make that much sense, but the match was good, especially down the stretch. It was solid for the most part, but it really kind of heated up down the stretch. In the end, Miz once again retaining his United States Championship, so decent match there. I don't think it was advertised, though, so that was, again, which is ridiculous, a lot like at the Rumble. And then we get to the main event, the saving grace of this show, in my opinion, for the World Heavyweight, for the World Heavyweight Championship. We had The Undertaker defending the title against R-Truth, John Morrison, CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, and Chris Jericho. Great match. The process of elimination went down the same exact way that it did in the opener, with one guy getting taken out by somebody, and then so on and so forth. And again, by that I mean R-Truth was taken out relatively quickly by Punk, which allowed Punk enough time to cut a promo before the next guy came out, which was awesome. Rey Mysterio came out and he took out, or no, not Rey Mysterio, I think it might have been Morrison, but Mysterio was the one who took out CM Punk and kind of planting the seeds for their WrestleMania match, so that was great. Mysterio got taken out by John Morrison, which was a huge elimination for John Morrison, a big get for him. So it was cool to see John Morrison last as long as he did. I mean, granted, he was involved in a throwaway tag team title match at WrestleMania, but still a nice little boost of momentum for the shaman of sexy, as he called himself. Morrison was taken out by Undertaker, I believe, at the last ride. Or no, rather a chokeslam on the steel floor, so that was cool. And Undertaker, in the end, it came down to him and Jericho. Taker had the match won before Shawn Michaels, of all people, came out from underneath the steel grate floor, pushed the grate aside, came out behind Taker, hit him with the sweet chin music, allowing Chris Jericho, his arch nemesis from 2 years earlier, but that was the whole point. Like, why would he do such a thing? Why would he allow his enemy, his biggest rival of all time, arguably, in Chris Jericho, why would he help him win the World Heavyweight Championship? It had nothing to do with Jericho. It was all about Shawn Michaels wanting to get revenge on, not really wanting to get revenge, but going to desperate measures. Desperate times call for desperate measures in costing Taker the World Heavyweight Championship. That was the only way he knew how that he would be able to get to him at WrestleMania, by costing him the World Championship. Jericho, the slimy heel that he was, if it was anyone else, it probably wouldn't have worked as well, but because it was Jericho, it was a perfect finish to do. It set up him and Edge for WrestleMania, who I forgot to mention came out for a segment interrupting William Regal and sparing him to promote NXT. William Regal was a pro on the show. That's why he was out there to promote that, and Edge just speared him to say that I'll be making my decision who I want to face at WrestleMania tomorrow night on Raw. But anyway, the main event I thought was great. A really, really well-wrestled main event with a great finish. A lot of good stories told. The opening match had shades of decent stories, and Triple H took out Sheamus, kind of set up their WrestleMania match too. So the stage was set for WrestleMania 26 on this show, but overall, from an entertainment standpoint, it's not worth watching in its entirety. It's kind of a waste. The opener was not as good as past Chamber matches were. It did set up Batista and Cena, which was cool, a nice little surprise there, but not that good of a match. McIntyre and Kane was boring as shit. The women's match was a waste. The U.S. title match was good, but not must-see, which, no pun intended with The Miz being involved. Whatever, you know what I mean. And then the main event I thought was great. So if anything, needless to say, watch the main event for the finishing sequence and basically just the whole match. I thought it was great. Definitely one of the better Chamber matches in recent years. But that is my review of Elimination Chamber 2010. Thank you for watching and listening. Always appreciated. And we'll be back on Wednesday. I believe this is, I don't know. Whenever my next review is going up, I'll be talking about Elimination Chamber 2011. One of my favorite pay-per-views. I love that show. And I'll talk about why. Easily my favorite Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that ever was. By a long shot. And I'll talk about why that is in my review. So a nice little hook for you. And for the next review, my Elimination Chamber 2011 review, coming up on Wednesday, or I think this is going up on fucking, I don't even know. This is going up on Wednesday. So maybe, no, this is going up on Saturday. I have no idea. I'm recording this so far in advance. I have honestly no idea. But regardless, guys, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated. Be sure to find me on the Twitter at WrestleRant. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/graham.jason.matthews. Give the page a thumbs up. Visit the website at nexterawrestling.net. All the links are down below in the description box. Stay tuned until my next video for my review of Elimination Chamber 2011. As I said a million times before, I'm Graham Jason Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road.